evening. So Jules here from Joolsedesigns at JT Creations. Welcome to my channel. This is the start of the Back to Basics for 2025. I'm actually videoing this in December 24 because I do schedule my videos in advance. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make a cover out of a cereal box. Not my cereal, my grandchildren. Choco squares. So as you can see, we've already got a spine there, and I'm just going to check. Now, rule of thumb is an inch per signature. Now this is 1 3/4 inches, which is fine because I'm only going to put one signature in anyway. So also what I want is the papers that I put in are A4, which are 8 1/4. Yep, just under 8 1/4. And when they're folded up, because I usually fold them up like that, they're 5 3/4. So what I'm wanting is I'm wanting 8 1/2 that way, and I'm wanting 6 inches that way and 6 inches that way. So I think what we'll do is we'll mark this for the 6 inches. We'll do it at the top and get some of this bulk, and then I can put it in my looking for a pencil. Oh, sorted my craft room out, and I've got another trolley, so I marked it 6 inches there. So we can take that off. Now you can cut this on your trimmer, or you can put it on your cutting mat with a knife. And the same here, I'm just going to mark it 6 inches. And 6 inches. And then mark it . So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to cut those two ends off as to do for tickets and stuff like that. And then what I want is I want 8 1/2. So we'll mark it here at 8 1/2, and we'll mark it here at 8 1/2. We have a cover. Now, if you want, I will cover putting a spine in separate, but this is easier at the moment. One of the things I do is a reinforcement spine, and that should fit in there nicely. Yep, we'll just cut that at the edges, and then what we'll do is we will stick that in. Now I do tend to stitch round my journals. Not everybody likes to, so if you don't, just make sure everything's stuck in really well. And some of this, the inside paper got pulled off, so it's which is fine. It's still going to strengthen it. Now what I want is I want to cover it with coffee paper, but I can't cover it with coffee paper because that's smaller. So what I tend to do is I put 2 pieces like that, and I stick them together, and all I do for that is I use double-sided sticky tape, or you can use glue. The reason I use double-sided sticky tape is because it's perfectly measured out to 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or whatever size you use. An inch, it's entirely up to you. I just put that in there. And burnish that down with a bone folder or the edge of your scissors. What I do is I get my piece like that. Make sure it's on the edge like that, and then I pull that off and stick that on there. And there you are. A nice piece of paper. If you, I mean, I do have A3 paper, but not everybody does. So there we are, we have that. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to stick double-sided sticky tape on this. I'm just using a stamp block just to rip it. If you don't, you can use scissors, anything, it's entirely up to you. I find this is easier. And if it goes over, it goes over. Oops, stuck to my finger. A lot of the time I just use cereal boxes, because by the time you've got it covered with paper, it's quite sturdy. And then what I do is I just pull all these off. And there we are. And then it doesn't matter which way it goes. But what I am going to do is I'm watching these sides. And what I want to do is I want to get an equal, you know, so like in the middle and the same as what's there. And then this way I can just cut this up. It won't be the straightest cut, but it'll be straight enough. And there we are. And what I do is I tend to bend them over. Do the two ends first. Sorry if I'm out of camera. There. Then I do these. And just bring it to the edge of the cereal box. And you can burnish it down if you know, with a bone folder or whatever. And the same with this. And this is just, I think it's 120 GSM paper. It's not copier paper. Normally I would use copier paper, but it's just, it was my coffee dyed paper. So then when you open this out, you've got a square. Now you really need those squares out. So what I do is I just take it at a slight angle. I don't cut right to the corner. I leave a bit. Maybe that's a bit too much. You can buy fancy corner things, and I don't know what I've done with mine. I do have one somewhere. It's probably in one of my drawers, but I'm not going to worry about it, cut that one and that one. Again, not right to the corner. You can have, that one's a bit too near. Don't, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. And there we are. But you can get fancy contraptions that sit on the corner, and then you can just cut away the edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use again sided double tape on here. Some people just glue them on, but it's what you find's easiest for you. But as I say, I've got all this, I've got a stack of double-sided sticky tape that I need to use, and I'm using it. Because that's at an angle, we'll put it on that side. Try and keep to the edge, not like me. There we are. And what I tend to do is I tend to do this side, and I do put glue on it. I put glue right along the edge like that. And then just wiggle it up. Take that off. Put a bit of glue on that, and that gives you a little bit of wiggle room as well. You can use if you stitch your albums, you can use glue stick. And then what I tend to do is I tend to go, if you get any wrinkled bits, don't worry about it. On this side, take this off first. You can see I've had this double-sided sticky tape for a long time, because I've not done any card crafting in a good few years. I still make cards, but I just do my own personal cards. Kids' birthdays, Christmas. And there we have it. Yeah. And along that edge. Because I didn't hit right along the edge, I'm just going along the edge there. And then and it's up to you whether you do the two end flaps or the two long sides first. There's no right or wrong. There's no rules in junk journaling. It's what you're happy with. It's what feels right to you. And there we are. So we've got our, and I have a little scrapey thing that I got from Temu, and I just go over that and just make sure that it's all stuck down. And go over the edges. And I usually round the edges of there. Just put that round. And there we are. And then what I usually do is fold that over like that. And just press that back in there, because you will get a bump. And there we have it. One journal cover already done. So that's one way. Another way is, and it's cardboard I've got for this. So let me clear this. What I want is, I'm doing one for, I want one this size. So I want one with quite a large spine. So that's just under 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece just under 3. So that's my bit that's just under 3. And this one, I want just 6.28. So I want 2 pieces like that. And there we are. Now I want it at just an 1/8 under 8.5. Yeah, these two should be, yep, exactly the same, and this one needs to be the same, under 8.5. Okay, so perfect. So that's me got my journal cover the way that I'm going to do this one. So what you've got is and you can do this with cereal boxes, you can do it with anything. You don't have to just do what I did with cereal boxes. That seems a bit... Yep, for some reason. So what we want is we want a space. Now what I usually use is another bit of cardboard, so that'll do. And what I normally use is I use Tyvek. However, I can't find my Tyvek. I've put it somewhere. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the next best thing, which is masking tape. Okay, so what I want is I want a piece of masking tape on there hanging over, and Tyvek is something that you get post in the States. We don't tend to get that here in the UK. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up against there, right up against there, and I'm going to stick that down like that. And there we are. It doesn't seem to have, it's fine. And what I'll do is I'll put another piece of masking tape on here. Again, roughly about half and half. Right, 2 seconds. Right, so that's me back. So it was my husband. He's not very well. He's got a DVT at the moment, so he was phoning me from downstairs because he's on R&R. So what I did was I put the masking tape on there, and all that does is it just gives it an easy, so it's flexible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this again the same way. I know I folded that one in half, but it doesn't matter. And the two slightly different shades, but actually let me have a look at that. Oops, what have I got in this one? I think I've got some. This one's cabbage dyed paper, and it's going on my, and it's, this is a bit bluey grey. But it's for my little nutcracker journal, so this will do, I think. Yeah, we'll have that on the outside. So again, we'll just put the double-sided sticky tape down. And just this is going on the outside, so I need this to, oh, it doesn't matter, things are going to get, whoop. Oh dear, gone a bit skew-whiffy, but never mind, it doesn't matter. That's going to go up the spine, and the spine will get covered with some then. So this grey side, and I'll put that on the, right, okay, so we're just going to get a turnover and no more on that, which is fine. So again, I've lost me sticky tape. Okay, and you can see I put it in a different pattern to what I did the other one, which is fine. So I'm just smoothing these out, making sure they're well burnished down. And I've stuck them right up next to the folds, the creases, because I want the paper to stick on those bits. And you can get double-sided tape that the sticky bit doesn't fit all the way to the edge of this bit, so it's easy. I think it's called Easy Lift or something tape, but makes life a bit easier, but I don't have that. I just ever get whatever's, well, I used to just get whatever's the cheapest. And as I say, I would normally put Tyvek on there. I have got some, I've put it somewhere, I can't find it. But I used masking tape, which is not as strong as Tyvek, but just as good, you know, for strengthening those the creases of your book or your journal or whatever you call it. And this bit's got a bit sticking over, but never mind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down as equal as I can. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put it right in the middle, because I'll fold those edges over. And this is just kind of, this paper is just what covers your, you know, your cereal box or your cardboard or grey board or whatever, so don't worry about it. And I'll just cut these down, no need to do the Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to put some sticky along this edge so that it sticks down quite well. And as you can see, I'm pressing that down at the edge, and I'm going to do that here as well. Really should use a smaller sticky, but never mind. I'm just going to stick that down on the edge. So in this video, I've just shown you two different types of mediums you can use for your journal covers. It's up to you really what you choose. You can use grey board. When I used to make albums, I used to use grey board. Oops. For journals, I just use what I'm using now. And I'm just pulling that over. And because I've put the sticky on both sides, that sticks fine. And this one will have a little bit of sticky sticking out, but it's fine because I'm going to put an overlay to cover the cardboard anyway. But usually I do that later on, but never mind. And there, so we still have the end bits of the journal covered. And again, like before, now I did leave the pin out of my glue overnight. And we'll put some glue on the sticky as well. It just gives it a little bit more wiggle room when you're folding it over. Okay, we'll take this one off like I should have done the first time. And just a thin bead of glue just down the edge. And that just helps the paper stick to the edge of the cardboard or whatever medium you're using. And then fold that back up. So if you do your folds first before you stick your sticky down, then you didn't do that one very good, did I? Never mind. It's going to get covered up. And this is why we have one of these. And what I'm doing is I'm sticking these in there. Oh, don't press too hard with something like that. Just gently does it, because you'll end up doing what I've done there and ripped the paper, but that's fine. And there we are. We have another journal cover. So we have two different types, and this one is going to fit this. So what I will do in the next video, I will stick that down with you, but what I will do is I will put some cardboard on there, and this, once we've covered it, will sit in there like that. And I think I have something for there, but I will cover this probably with digital to match this. So I hope you get something out of that. So that's our first Back to Basics in 2025, and it's making a journal cover. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.